And I think, too, there was just so much happening on that beach. I think tensions were already so high with people assuming you and Chris maybe were in a relationship or had some sort of pact before paradise. The same with Brendan and Piper. Like, there was just a lot of this narrative of people already being in some sort of established relationship that I think, I mean, those couple of days, I will say, like the night of that party and the next couple of days after that, things were so heightened. And that was like all, not all, but a huge majority of the conversation was around that, of people, like, don't come to paradise if you're already talking to someone or already in a relationship. There was just so much talk about having conversations or being in some sort of relationship prior to paradise. And I will say, I think it was easy for people on the beach to kind of lump you and Chris in that situation into the same category as like the Piper and Brendan situation, which to me, and from living on the beach with everyone, was two completely different things. Like, yeah, you and Chris had hung out in a group setting, were friends. You didn't have a plan, or you weren't already dating. You did not already have an established relationship, versus the Brendan and Piper, where they were basically in a relationship. They were already established. They did kind of have some sort of plan coming in where whoever gets there first will stick around until the other one comes and do what they have to do to play the game, as they've said. And so I don't want people to see your situation with Chris and see theirs and be like, oh, it's the same thing. Because it's not. It's vastly different.
No, it's not. I mean, like I said before, Chris and I had never been on a date before the show. We'd never hooked up, nothing like that. It was strictly a friendship, group settings. It's different. And I think the main thing that shows the difference is that I came into it excited to see Chris, but still wanting to explore things with other people. And that was not how Brendan and Piper were going to carry through with the rest of their experience.
I think that's what it comes down to, is like, people thought you and Chris had some sort of plan coming into paradise. And talking to you, that was not the case. And I think with Brendan and Piper, the plan was very, very transparent. Certain things and the way that they were talked about, the way that their interactions were prior to paradise, it was very apparent. You guys had no intention of coming down and being like, okay, this week, this is what you have to do to solidify your spot here. And then once you're here, we're going to be all in. Like, there was none of that. And that's actually why I want to have you here, is to say your side of things, to give your piece and to shut those rumors down, because I know how that's important. And if I was in your position, I wouldn't want people lumping me into the same category as Brendan and Piper and what they were doing, because that hurt people. Like, yes, I know, I understand Jasenia was hurt in this, and I don't want to downplay that. But the way Brendan and Piper executed this plan that they had is vastly different from what happened with you and Chris. And so that's why I want you to clear the air and say your side here, because now's the opportunity, because you weren't allowed to on that beach.
Yeah, no, I definitely wasn't allowed to say anything. Everyone made sure of that. But I had no plan with Chris. We were friends. That was it. There's a huge difference between Chris and I knowing each other already and Brendan and Piper, who were already dating.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, you had said you guys hung out twice in group settings. It wasn't, I'm assuming, romantic. It wasn't like you were going on dates. You didn't see Chris off right before he left for paradise. No. There was none of that prior to it. I won't lie to
you. Like, we flirted. We were attracted to each other, but nothing like that. Like, a line was never crossed.
Look, nothing's wrong with a little healthy flirting. We've all done that. It's the, hey, what are we? We like each other. Once we're both on the beach together, we're all in. We're going to do what we have to do to get a rose each week, to stick around waiting for the next person to come. Yeah, exactly. That's not the point. And for you to still be open to seeing what the beach had to potentially offer if it didn't work out with Chris. Yeah. And even the fact now that Chris has helped you through a really difficult time, and you had to kind of reform this friendship and let it grow into something potentially stronger. I don't think you should feel ashamed of that. I don't think you should be worried about that. I mean, I get like wanting to keep your relationship close to you and private. I understand that part. But I don't think you should be ashamed of where you and him are at this point.
Yeah. I think I've just learned personally that for me, for other people, clearly it works, but for me, relationships and friendships are best formed off screen,
Mm-hmm.
like not on camera, not in a controlled setting. And so I have kind of taken like a lot of time to think about this. And I just know that for me, like the ability to have privacy on certain things is important for me now because I did not stay on the show. So I don't really owe that all that information to the
Right.
public. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's mine and I can share it when I want or I don't have to. And I like that about this. The fact that I have the ability to have privacy, whereas a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these people don't at this point.
Oh, I love that you just said that. Seriously, everyone needs to rewind for the past 40 seconds and listen to what Alana had to just say.